Well, Mark can't be the only human being that puts like Final Fantasy IV at the top of the tier list. You know, Mark has the habit of saying that we are fried as a collective of people. Let me tell you, convict, I can now understand why Mark is completely fried, all right? Any person who puts Final Fantasy IV at the top of the list, clinically insane. Okay? No. Like, I am very close. No, I'm not very close. You know, I'm gonna follow it through the end. But I'm not gonna lie. It's probably one of the games that it just discouraged me so much yesterday, man. I was like, I do not want to play this anymore. You know, it was that intense. Like, if we're grinding on my own terms and shit like that, amen, man. Good shit. But there was literally, look, I just finished the battle. And I literally took one step. Just one. It wasn't 2, 3, 4, 5. I finished the battle. And as soon as I got done, I took one step. And bam, I was in another one. I was like, you gotta fucking chill. And then I was like, okay, you know, I don't even know how to flee battles because there's not like a flee button, right? And then Mark tells me, hey man, you gotta hold, you know, left and right controller buttons. You know, if you were playing SNES, they're like the buttons here to the top, right here, boom, 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 boom. So I hit L and left and right in the controller, and while I'm running away, I lose like 60 gil. I was like, what the fuck is going on? You're telling me the game is calling me a bitch because I don't want to deal with this bullshit? Oh no. And it's like, all right, you're supposed to get to this like octopus boss after you like go down a waterfall. Bullshit, man. You have to go through a fucking maze again and fight God knows how many bitches and then get to the octopus boss. So I felt betrayed. And Mark just wants me to lose all sanity. Clearly. Look at this one. Last dungeons is 5 floors of boss tier enemies and random encounters. You fascinating. And damn, that's intense, bro. Look, man. But I mean, the battling system is fine. I like the characters. I like the attacks. You know, the story is pretty generic when it comes to, you know, Final Fantasy like stories. What's kind of funny for me, I'm gonna have to clip this shit because I think it makes for a good video. It's like, what do I think of Final Fantasy IV so far? Dude, the story, like, if you don't really think too much of it, it's like some Cartel bullshit. I'm not kidding. Final Fantasy was on some Narcos shit. Even before Narcos was like a thing. I mean, admittedly, Pablo Escobar was fucking around in like the 70s, 80s, right? But Final Fantasy IV is like, the whole plot is based on like a kingdom trying to get all the crystals. And if like, you know what I'm talking about if we're talking crystals, right? These homies are trying to like slang all the crystal meth in the universe. And it's like wherever they go, they have to steal the crystal meth from like the country or the castle. And these guys are like cartel operating. Like they fuck up villages. Like they destroy entire villages and towns and castles just to get their hands on the meth, man, on the crystals. And they do the most diabolical shit. Like after the ant dungeon or the octopus boss, you're gonna get to like a castle and you see these like 3 ships that you assume are airships. They just bombed the living shit of this like castle just as soon as you're like about to get there, right? And so you enter the castle and like everybody's dead, and the people who are alive, they're like, cough, cough, They took the crystal and they killed everybody. No shit. It's like, who would do that? Taking crystals and murdering everybody at the same time? Folks, if you ask me, that is cartel behavior, right? Oh, man. I gotta give it to the story, man. Like, it's hilarious. And all stats go up when you level up, unlike FF6. So, yeah, I mean, there are some mechanics I also like. You know, and I like Cecil's, like, Dark Blade shit. It's just like a 100% AoE. Admittedly, it does take your health away a little bit every time that you use it, but it's like a very OP attack, man. Shit ain't playing. Grinding on my own terms has been fun. And yeah, what I like the most so far is the story, man. Again, I have not seen, like, again, you know, when you've already played like 6, 7, 8 Final Fantasy games, the stories become quite predictable, right? Like, if it isn't the antagonist who wants to conquer the world, then the story is, you know, a man or a woman's, like, journey to the destruction of the world. Or let's take over this resource or whatever it is and then fuck up the entire world. And Final Fantasy IV is no different. Like, it's a very generic story once you are very familiar with, like, the universes in Final Fantasy. But man, I mean, it's not boring. It's just, I'm loving it. I'm loving it, man. Like, this cartel thing going on in the game, I think Final Fantasy was onto something, or Square Enix. They were onto something. They were like, let's predict the state of the world in 10, 20, 30 years. They nailed it. No cap, man. Again, it's like the most terrorist-driven Final Fantasy right now that I've seen. So, I mean, in my opinion, it has that going on for it. The thing is, man, the writers of these games and these, like, universes, I'll say that they're very talented. You know, they can make the same story up 14 to 15 times right now. I don't even know how many Final Fantasy games there are. In the linear timeline, there's probably got to be like 15 or 16, right? From Final Fantasy 1 to 16 or something like that. But are you going to keep playing it? Yeah, of course I am, man. I got to do it for Mark. I got to do it for Mark. You know, I think I'm starting to see a trend. Mark just loves me going clinically insane. If it's entertainment, we got to do it. So, yeah. So there have to be like 15 to 16 Final Fantasies in like the linear timeline. And they don't have anything to do with one another. Except maybe like 10 and X2 or 10-2, you know? 10 being the one where Titus is slanging. And 10-2 being the one where Yuna is trying to figure out how to rescue Titus from the dream. And, yeah. Like, the storylines are very similar. The universes, like, the way that the world works. And, look, man, the team of writers that they got make the stories just, it's very nice. Very wholesome. And I see my homie, the Phoenix Master. Welcome back. My homie, who I had not seen in quite a while, returns. And I know it's the homie because every time I see that Giyu Tomioka PFP, man, it's my homie, man. And, yeah, man, Phoenix, welcome back, my G. Hopefully you're having a beautiful day. Hopefully you've been having a beautiful time, too, while you've been away. And God bless you, my G. Sending you a lot of love, a lot of hugs. A lot of good, a lot of blessings, man. You know? So, yeah. You know, Final Fantasy IV so far, for me personally, has been mixed. Again, like, the pacing or just like the amount of battle encounters you got, just excruciating. That mechanic that where you flee and you drop money at the same time kind of makes you look like a bitch. You know, well, fleeing makes you look like a bitch, period. And I guess they really made that a point because every time you flee, you lose money potentially. Not all the time, but some of the times. But yeah, the story is fucking great. The cartel dynamics are, again, Final Fantasy was on some narco shit before, you know, some of these organizations were. They might have taken a playbook from Final Fantasy IV, I'm telling you. And, yeah, you know, while I am mixed, like I am, I'm still going to play it, still going to finish it. And the thing like you is you start as the bad guy in Final Fantasy IV.